Marie, investigators believe that Vicky White has a substantial amount of cash on hand as this escape now drags on past 72 hours. They tell me that house sold in Lexington for just under $96,000 about 12 days before this escape went down on Friday. Now, these are the documents we reviewed. We came down here to the courthouse and looked over those. A tax assessment tells us that house is worth twice as much. So this was a quick sale, not as much money as Vicky White could have made, according to real estate folks I spoke to here in the Shoals. You know, Vicky had also told her coworkers and the sheriff that Friday was going to be her last day in the office. She was retiring after 16 years here working as a correctional officer, and she said she was planning on heading on down to the beach, but now the information that investigators have learned show that there was something else going on. It appears those actions, including selling the house, might all be tied into this escape.
She'd been talking about retiring for 3 or 4 months, and and had done some things. You know, she did sell her home about a month ago, and talked about going to the beach. That's just, everybody thought she was going to retire. Nobody saw this coming.
As far as her retirement fund, she doesn't have any of that money. She actually missed a meeting this week to go over how that funding will end up in her pocket. So she doesn't have that money on hand, but she does have the money from the sale of her home. Casey White did have access to Vicky White because he was housed inside the jail. So as her role inside, Vicky White had access to a lot of inmates. They are still working to figure out how those two were communicating and if they were inside the detention facility or if this is going out into the state prison as well, where Casey White was housed for a time before being brought here to Lauderdale County. Again, they are still working this thing and trying to figure out more about that relationship between the two and just how involved Vicky White was in all of this. Over at the detention facility today, there is a parking spot with a plaque on it, indicates Vicky White's parking spot. There was no vehicle there today. I spoke to some coworkers and they said, look, whatever ended up happening, they just hope Vicky gets back here safe.